someone asked me if every week we talk about J-Lo. I got like a written message and I'm like, not really. But I'm like, that is a question I cannot say I've gone into deeply like every week about J-Lo, but only when she's making the news.
Alrighty, we are live.
Woohoo!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I am Meryl Climo.
Welcome back, Meryl. Welcome back from your
Thank
vacation.
you. Woohoo! Thank you so much. I had a week in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico with my parents and lived to survive it and tell you about it. So it's good.
Nice, nice. You look very refreshed.
Thank you. I feel very refreshed. But it's so funny coming back to I live in Los Angeles, and so it's really not that big of like a transition to go from one place with a palm trees and ocean to like come back. But the beach there is very, very friendly and nice. And if anyone is ever thinking about like wants to visit a place in Mexico that is extremely like both tourist friendly but also has a lot of culture and really good food, I really love Puerto Vallarta. So it's fun.
Nice, nice. I got to get on a vacation. I take my wife on a vacation very soon. So,
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's a beautiful place to go. I think there's a lot of we stayed at a Marriott down there and like Marriotts are normally nice, like they're just kind of normally nice, but this one is like ridiculously like people are honeymooning there and it almost feels like you're in Hawaii. So if you're looking for like the next best thing, I recommend that. So, yeah.
well, it is definitely good to have you back.
Thank you. And you look refreshed too.
Oh, well, thank you, thank you. Just been doing a lot of things in the background, trying to get things moving and get new stuff going. So I am very
Yay.
happy about what's coming very, very soon.
Yeah, I am too. I won't tell everyone that I know what some of the stuff is, but I can
There you
say,
go.
as someone that knows, I'm excited for you and for everyone.
Like, thank you. And also, I definitely want to welcome everyone who's watching that's um, on our streaming channel, watching us on YouTube, and also want to send a special hello out to.
Our spoon, our
Here we go.
spooners, which the people on Spoon are so nice. I've been spooning. There's this app called Spoon. If people are new to it, it's an app that you could download. It's like an orange app, and it's audio only, but it's very cool. And I've been spooning my little heart out a couple days out of the week. Yesterday, during one of my spoons, someone asked me for advice how to like flirt with people, and I thought it was so cute.
Ace.
Yeah, that was very
Good that
sweet.
people are listening, though.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I tend to get like a lot of teenagers in Korea and it makes me so happy and I'm like, hello everyone. Like I feel like I'm like now like leading a bunch of like 800 teenagers in Korea, like teaching them all how to flirt. So I found my
Nice.
people. Yeah.
Well, actually, we have a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to go ahead and let you start off.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Okay, so my first topic is about are you familiar, like I mean obviously everyone is, but the I wanted to first get your thoughts on the brand The Gap, like the clothing brand, because I think a lot of us have different feelings, good or bad, about it.
Mhm. I
So
guess
like
for
I wanted to get, yeah, what do you think?
it's actually a great place for wearing like everyday comfortable stuff. You can have a little bit of fashion to it. And, it's been a while since I've been in there, I have to admit, but from the times I did go, the prices were actually pretty reasonable.
You do feel that way. Okay, because I think I feel like I've fluctuated on how I feel about the Gap, where sometimes I feel like a basic white t-shirt or like a pair of denim shorts is a little on the expensive side there for the quality. I feel like the past couple decades, I feel like the perception is the prices have gone up, but the quality has kind of gone down a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, but now the Gap is back on, kind of like making a comeback, which we didn't really know it left, but I feel like it's kind of reviving its reputation. The mall chain has seen highs and lows from record sales to, I don't know if you remember this, Kanye West had like a little line in there and then
I
that was a
remember that.
complete, yeah, that was like beyond a fail. And so I think that didn't really help them, like, reputation wise. So now the brand is having a resurgence with designer Zach Posen at the helm. Posen is known for creating gowns for A-listers, but now they're just focused on base getting back to the basics and like what we originally thought about them, which was like just nice denim, kind of, denim jeans, denim jackets, like white shirts, black shirts, and kind of more classic shirts. In the 2010s, it seemed to fade into oblivion with no one really wearing the sweatshirts anymore. But then Gen Z kind of made it cool again. And now wearing Gap sweatshirts is cool, which is so funny because in eighth grade, at my school, people used to carry around Gap bags as like locker bags. And I remember my mom couldn't really, like, we couldn't afford Gap all the time. And my mom was so sweet that she would go into Gap and buy like a pair of socks just so I could have the bag. Which, like, I should have just learned to be okay not to have a bag all the time, but I didn't really learn a lesson in like being okay with what you have. But that was like one of the cool girl things, is carrying around like the Gap bags when I was younger. So it's so funny now to see it back.
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes, and I've seen it with multiple retailers where they actually have something good going, and someone gets promoted and decides, hey, let's change it and make it better. When there was kind of nothing wrong with it at first.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Like all they need to do is just keep up the quality of it.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I have to admit, I haven't been to Gap in a long, long time. In fact, I kind of thought most of the stores closed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it seems like a lot of the mall stores over the past decade have kind of closed down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think to be relevant, you have to stick with what you know what works for you. Sometimes you do have to tweak a little bit as you go, but if something is working, the last thing you want to do is dramatically change it because you're risking your business doing that.
Right. And remember, like, I grew up in the 90s, and remember they had these ads, like the Gap had these perfumes and the colognes that were like grass scented. And they're, yes, I feel like their ads, even if they were a little pretentious, they got everyone talking because they used a lot of models. And like Sarah Jessica Parker was in some of the Gap ads, and they were just a little bit almost like Zoolander-ish, but
Mhm.
but it took itself seriously. I feel like now they're having to learn that we don't want that. Like people are gonna make it an SNL skit if it like takes it too seriously. And now people just want like good classic clothes that like stand the test of time. And I feel like there's a space in the market for that, especially with a lot of the fast fashion, like what we talked about a couple weeks ago with the Brandy Melville
Mhm.
store, where like people just don't want throwaway clothes anymore. They want more like classic things that will last longer. So I feel like the Gap could definitely like be there.
Oh yeah, because I mean, right now with everything being so expensive, I mean, it's just me and my wife, and I kid you not, every time we go to the grocery store, it just seems like we spend a couple $100.
Yes,
We don't
yes.
get much for it. So everything is just so ridiculously high. I mean, rent right now is more than my mortgage.
I
Okay.
know it
So
is.
it's like, you
Yeah,
really when you shop, um, you kind of I know for me personally, I'm a little bit more hesitant on just buying anything. I look at, okay, can I wear this with multiple outfits? Is the quality
right.
good where it's going to last me a long time? You're looking at things a lot differently now than you did, let's say, even a couple of years ago.
I know. And no one I know is just like going to the mall anymore, like just for fun shopping anymore. Like, like I think the high people are like the 1% are definitely going still to the like
Mhm.
designer stores and shopping in that kind of way. But I feel like for the most part, most of the middle class, like grocery shopping or just regular shopping, clothes shopping, it's like we're missing out on the fun of just kind of going and spending random money. Like I used to just go to the grocery store and try new food out and being like, oh, okay, if I get this, it's like $3 extra. Who cares? And now it's like a $9 object. I don't like, you can't really buy like four of those and not eat it. So
Mhm.
yeah. Well, and I with this I also wrote down the stores that are still going strong that I feel like have really pivoted in the past couple of years. And to me, uh American Eagle, like it's so I still shop there, and I feel like it's become like American Eagle and Abercrombie were kind of seen like as also snooty like in the teenage years because they had like the models and it was seen as weird. And I feel like for better they have kind of like diversified who their target customer is, and even like the way that the models look, and there's a lot more diversity in like who they're targeting. And even from like a size perspective too, like I can go in as like a curvy woman and get like a really cool outfit at American Eagle, and I feel like I stay loyal to those kinds of stores because I'm like, okay, if I know that I'm going to have a good experience, I'll like keep going there and instead of going elsewhere. So
Oh yeah. I mean, even though most people buy online like I do, there's still a place for the brick and mortar stores.
yeah.
You have to be able to know what your space is and just not be like everyone else.
Right. Yeah, and to make customers feel welcome, because like I'm not this is like vulnerable or whatever, but like you never want, if you're like a woman or whoever, and I'm not talking about like 700 pounds, but I'm going into a store. Basically it would be a nightmare for like a sales associate to kind of tell me or tell someone like, oh, I don't think any of the clothes are going to fit you here, or like you're not. But I feel like now at stores like American Eagle and Gap, they're much more nicer and like less snooty than they used to be. And
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to be more inclusive all around, and like that definitely makes me feel safer, where before I feel like I probably would have felt intimidated into
Oh yeah.
going into like one of those stores.
Well, the crazy thing is that yes, the people that wear the bigger sizes are generally the older people, and they're
Yeah.
the people that have the money to spend. So you have
Right.
to think
Right.
about that.
Exactly. I was
I mean,
like,
it's
yeah.
cool to have the zero waistline type clothing and all that. Most of them can't afford your stuff. So
No.
it may look cool, but you're not going to get many sales that way.
I was probably trying to shoplift their stuff, but yeah. Yeah. I feel like the statute of time has run out that I could say that. But yeah, like many decades ago when I was the size that they would probably want me to be, I was like not paying for it. But now as an adult person that's making my own purchases, I'm happy. And that's so good for companies to really like, and I think consumers can tell when something is real, like a lasting change is real, and when it's just performative.
Mhm.
And I think the Gap like has a really good chance of staying like a cool brand. And like remember, I feel like Champion had that too, where Champion was really cool growing up, and then it kind of got like geeky and kind of low value, and then now I feel like now it's cool to wear a Champion sweatshirt again.
That's true. That's true. That's one store I haven't been in over a decade.
I know, me neither, because it's also like the markup on things is just insane. Where if it's like a sweater or a sweatshirt is like $170 or something, that's just like really not worth the material and
Yeah.
the price. Like, where does your son shop for clothes, or does he shop all online?
He gets a lot of his stuff online, but he also shops a lot at Urban Outfitters,
Okay,
which is
yeah.
nice stuff. So, he's definitely more into fashion than I am. So, way more than I am. But you know what? That's okay. He's living his life. And like I said, he knows how to put stuff together. I'll give him credit for that.
Maybe he could like consult both of us, and because I need
There
that
you
help
go.
too. I love it. Anytime like a friend or anyone else dresses me or picks out an outfit for me, I'm like, I like this way better. Why can't I like choose what other people want me to wear? I have like two girlfriends that take me shopping, and then I almost have a meltdown in the dressing room, and then I always end up liking what I get, what they pick me out.
There you go. No problem. I definitely understand that.
So
Well,
we'll be
our
shopping
next,
at the Gap.
there you go. I would like to talk about this. I don't know if you know about this. Okay. Now, Caitlin Clark is now in the WNBA. Okay. She's
Hmm.
a professional player. And it seems like she's being targeted on the court. There was one incident where, she took a kind of a hard foul from another player. Uh, and it just seems like they're targeting in on her. And then the latest thing is, she got snubbed because, she didn't make the Olympic team. Do you think they're kind of targeting her because of her celebrity status right now going into the league?
Yes, I mean, I feel this is so crazy that like an athlete like this gets so much hate and backlash, and just like that so much of the story about her hasn't been like just as much as it's about her athletics, it's about how hateful people are in her DMs and then like at actual games. There's like one name I always see come up. Does she have like one person that kind of like seems to check her, like this one opponent. Um, there seems to be like some girl that I feel like gets a lot of heat. I forget what the girl's name is, but I don't know. I there's like one person that I hear of a lot that kind of like is always seeming to like elbow her or just kind of throw shade on and off the court at her. Um, and I think it's like so crazy coming from other athletes too. Like I can see people that are just jealous or like hateful people for no reason, but when you're an athlete and she's actively helping your sport and helping get visibility and like I don't know, unless there's something I don't know, unless she's like people are mad about it, I just don't see any reason to be negative about like a young girl too. She's not even a fully formed like adult yet. She's still like a young person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have mixed emotions. I mean, obviously, when you're coming into the league, whether it's the NBA or WNBA, yeah, they're gonna probably be a little bit hard on you, because even though you have that star status, you're still a rookie in their eyes that play the sport. So
Right.
some of them, don't mean anything by it. Is there some jealousy going to be there? Yeah, I'm quite sure it's going to be some jealousy as well too. But I think what it's going to do is just give her thick skin because so far
Yeah.
I'm impressed at how she's handling it. She's not letting it, distract her from what she needs to do. She's a great player. Obviously, it's going to take time for her to be a great player in the WNBA because, it is a different league compared to college. So,
Yeah.
the thing is, like some people were saying how, you know, she's not as explosive as she was in college, but okay, she's coming into the WNBA. That's a whole different thing that she has.
Right.
So you have to give her a little time. Every rookie has to go through it, regardless of what team you're on.
And I feel like there's a difference between how you said like not hazing, but just kind of like not letting it be so easy for new people versus like actively trying to tear them down and making things tougher for them. Are there any? I wonder who like I don't know if you know offhand who are women that are in the WNBA now who are like really high profile and really well known, almost like people that could take her under their wing and kind of like advocate for her and be like, hey, like almost a big sister to her.
You know what? There's several people that I think could do that. And actually, what was interesting, I was watching Jimmy Kimmel one night, and Magic Johnson was one of the hosts on there. And Magic Johnson actually made a suggestion, which was actually pretty interesting. And she kind of said, "Hey, Caitlin, if you're watching, why don't you give Larry Bird a call? Because Larry Bird actually lives in Indiana. I didn't know.
Ah,
So it was kind of interesting that he kind of threw that tidbit out there.
yeah.
And Larry could kind of walk her through, because even though one's NBA, one WNBA, it's still basically the same as far as how the league works and stuff like that, and how to get through your rookie years.
Yeah, yes. I,
So
like that documentary on David Beckham too showed how like he had years where people hated him and like his teammates hated him for every decision he made and the crowd hated him and just I feel like other athletes probably could also weigh in and help her. Um, but I can't even imagine going through all that and like she seems like she doesn't want to, she just wants to play and like
yeah,
yeah, that's so weird and like that it also like just as a woman it doesn't really do well for like the overall optics of the sport. It makes it look like it can't really handle that amount of pressure like how the men do, so it's just weird to me.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I think overall, I think she'll be good, but I think that things are kind of calmed down as far as because I mean, there was one game where she got checked really hard. I mean, knocked to the floor. It was like a
Wow,
little,
and did that
little over
person
the.
get a foul or get like a card or whatever it is in
It was a
basketball?
regular foul, and then later on, it got upgraded to more of a flagrant type foul. Um, but again, I get it. You want to let them play, but you also want to keep your players safe too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And if I was that coach, I would be like on it because it's like all it takes is for someone to push her the wrong way and then or to like push her to the point then that she's going to start doing it back or just yeah,
Hmm.
that's weird. We have or like at the San Diego Padres has that player Manny Machado who's
Hmm.
paid like so much, and I always wonder too if it's like weird for him. He doesn't seem like he gets any hate, like especially from the other players. But when he came on to the Padres, he had like such a big contract, and it was like what he gets paid for the most part is so much more than his other teammates, and I have to wonder behind the scenes if like that just is not a great feeling, and especially if he has a bad game or he messes up, like it like so much more is on the line for him. To me it seems like that, because I feel like that would be awkward if you were a teammate and you're making like $17 million or whatever, and it's like, okay, you're making like millions more than other people, and if you're not proving your worth, I could see that being stressful.
Oh yeah, I mean, because the thing is, you have to be professional, obviously. And again, the way a team is outside of the locker room is much different in the locker room.
Right.
Because I played baseball in high school, and it's the same no matter what sport it is. Inside that locker room, they may curse each other out, throw stuff at each other, just yell, scream. But then when you leave that locker room, you unified as a team.
Right. You're one team. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the thing is, even years later, as great as the Bulls was, the old, when Michael Jordan was on there, a lot of stuff came out years after the fact that happened behind the scenes that people didn't know about.
Yeah. I think there was just a player that got found guilty for like betting against his team. I feel like it was in the triple A's or something. But I just read that there's a baseball player that got in trouble for betting, but a lot of the times he was betting against, like he was betting for his team to lose, which is like I don't care about those kind of players, but I also always feel like if there's like there was a new player on the Padres. And I'm always worried. Like, I hope everyone's so nice to him. Like, my boyfriend is like, he's fine. Like, they like him. But I'm like, I just want to make sure everyone's not mean to him, because I could also see people being weird if like a new popular person comes in and kind of,
Hmm.
you get traded and now it's like kind of this new superstar. I could see them being like kind of snooty to them. But then my boyfriend was like, no, 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 they're excited that he's on the team because it's going to help them win. But I'm like, I don't know if that's always the case. I don't know.
I mean, if you're winning, it's one thing. I think where it gets a little bit hairy is, when you see this person making all this money, you guys are losing. I think that's what
Yeah.
stings the most.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like I've seen, I don't know if you can think of any players like this, but like there's some baseball players that I've heard have gotten like a big amount, and then to me it almost does seem like they care a little bit less. Like they get a little bit softer, a little bit whatever, but um I don't know if that has happened, if that like just notoriously happens a lot, where it's like you get to this number and you're kind of like, okay, I'm set for life anyway, and you just like the fire kind of goes down in you a little bit. Like, I can't say that's like I'm surprised, but
Yeah, you kind of hope that doesn't go on, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does, you know.
yeah. Dang, well, I'm here for you, Caitlin. I'll push anyone back. I don't know if she needs me, but I'm ready to throw some hands for her.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, this is actually perfect. This is like the best transition ever, because my next topic is all about the latest with the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight.
Hmm.
So, Iron Mike Tyson might not be allowed to fight Jake Paul. Will their bout be canceled? Tyson needs to pass strict medical tests after an ulcer flare up mid-flight. So, I think it was supposed to be November 15th, but
Hmm.
now, like every month that goes by, there seems to be like a new reason that's either pushing it back or possibly making it not going to happen. Because I guess like he is supposed to, or they said he was in the best shape ever when the fight was kind of called in the beginning, but now a stomach ulcer has caused him to delay the fight. Now doctors are saying like he might not be able to even fight at all. I just like I don't know. I mean, this is scary and bad. And if I was like, to me, like Mike Tyson doesn't have to do all this and like end his career or come out of any sort of thing to like prove himself against Jake Paul. What do you think about this?
The thing is, I think Mike Tyson, and people keep forgetting, Mike Tyson is in his 50s now. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly what his age is, but he's in his 50s now. So you have to be
Let's.
aware that,
Oh yeah, he's 58.
yes. So I mean, he's knocking on 60 right now. He's like 2 years away from being 60 years old. So, and I mean, to me, he's still a beast. Okay.
Yes.
But by the same token, your doctor is going to be very mindful of your health when you're talking about a very physical sport like boxing. So even though I know Mike would love to get in that ring, I do understand his doctors being ultra conservative and ultra cautious about him getting in that ring.
Right. Yeah, and I think that too. I feel like for me, I mean, do you think this was going to be fixed anyway, or not, or like it would be rigged that Tyson would definitely win it, or do you think he wouldn't do that? Like, I can't imagine him signing on to lose it, right? Like to have it be predetermined that he was going to lose.
As a Tyson, Mike Tyson fan, watching him over the years when he was in his prime fighting, I can see that happening. I honestly don't even think that his ego would allow that to happen.
Me
You
too,
know what I mean?
especially to Jake Paul.
Yeah, yeah. So I think really he wanted to get in there and just show us he's still the old Mike Tyson. And even if let's say for whatever reason the fight doesn't happen, Mike has nothing to be ashamed of. It's like, hey, you know what? Better be safe than sorry.
Exactly. It's almost like the universe saying you don't need to fight Jake Paul.
Because I still look at him as a great fighter, period. Even if he never
Yeah,
steps up again.
I agree. Could we take a 1 minute break just because I'm going to find my phone charger so we don't I don't lose you?
Okay. Well, everyone, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Yep, like a 30-second break. Okay. Do 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 do. It's like Jeopardy. Hold on, 30 seconds or less. I found it.
Alrighty.
Okay. This is the big leagues of streaming, and like Mike Tyson could never. Okay, we're saved. Thanks everyone for your patience and dedication. Okay, let's see. There we are. Okay, wonderful.
Welcome back, everyone. This
Thank
is
you.
actually a great transition, interesting one. There was this 74-year-old woman who was in a nursing home. She was on hospice. They thought she passed away. So they, of course, called the funeral home out. The funeral home out. And because she was on hospice, no doctors present. She didn't go to hospital or anything. And they took her directly to the funeral home. Lo and behold, there was a worker that noticed she was still breathing.
No.
So, yeah, they took her back to the nursing home, obviously. And yeah, if she wasn't gone before, that may have did it the trick. But
Oh
wow,
my
can
god.
you imagine something like that? Talk about a horror story.
Yes. So they were in the funeral home, but they hadn't like had they put her in a coffin?
No, they haven't done anything that they just from what I see and what I heard is that they brought her over there, and first they bring you over. They may put you in the freezer or whatever, the refrigerated
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
things or
yeah.
whatever. So somewhere during that process, someone noticed that hey, this corpse is still breathing. So
Oh my god. That is so, and so now is she like she's alive? Like she just is alive again, or did she like re-die?
Well, I didn't see the update to that story, but the last I saw, they brought her back to the nursing home because she was still living. But wow, talk
Oh
about,
my gosh.
and I'm just surprised that no one thought, hey, let's just make sure she stopped breathing before we put her in this bag, you know?
Yeah. I have to think that like for every like million deaths, there's probably like two or like one or two of that are like that, which is just the most horrendous, scary thing I could ever imagine. I always,
Yeah.
even when if I walk through cemeteries, I can't help but sometimes like picture some like hands coming out. I'm like, so this is like a real. I mean, obviously she's not in the ground at all, but just even being there, that is so scary.
Oh yeah. And the sad part about it is, they say that people even in comas and stuff, they're well aware of everything going on around them.
Yeah, yeah.
So can you imagine going to a nursing home? You're in the bag, you're unconscious, so you can't really speak, but you know what's going on around you.
No, no, there's no way there's no way I would like have my ghost unzip the bag or like I don't even know. I feel like that is a lot of horror movies where like or like that's the way they end a lot of movies too when they're if there's a sequel coming where like the bag will slowly unzip and it's like oh no it's not over.
Hmm. But I think the horrible thing is for the family. Um,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, they said their goodbyes. A loved one is gone. Oh, by the way, they're not gone. We brought
right.
them up.
The mix of emotions, and it's also too if she is like very conscious, then you kind of have a like almost a dry run of what's going to happen, and it's like oh no, I don't like. Also, that must be so anxiety feeling, having that scary experience, and then being alive and being like, what if that happens again, or like how would I know? That sounds
Yeah,
like a lawsuit, doesn't it? Like,
I would think so because here's the reality of it. If someone's on hospice, most of the time they do pass away, but there are times where people get on hospice and they actually come off of it. Depending
mhm,
on obviously what's going on with them. If they weren't sick before, that could probably guarantee to give them a heart attack and kill them.
yeah, yeah.
Just the terror of it.
So it's like I wonder who's more at fault, the nursing home people or the funeral home people. I mean, probably the nursing home people, not the funeral home, because they're just like doing what they always do.
See, I would think so, but you're right. Who is it, the nursing home because they really should have made sure she was gone, or is it the funeral home? Hey, let's just make sure this body's not breathing before we take it
Right.
away. you know?
Everyone, it's like passing through an inspection. It's like you need an assembly line of at least four people that like kind of know what they're doing and are trying.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's too scary to me. I don't need to hear that after I just watched a scary movie and like I always picture as it is like yeah like hands coming up and everything.
Well, I tell you, I'm gonna definitely keep
Ugh,
an eye on that story because I'm kind of curious to see what happened afterwards.
I know. Me too. Well, I mean, I hope that she's like back, and not just kind of back.
Hmm.
Um, okay, let's see. Okay, this is a bit of a pivot, but Shiloh Jolie Pitt, Angelina and Brad's daughter.
Hmm.
Um, I think, right, daughter, right? Yes. And so, yeah. Okay. So she just filed paperwork. And it's not that I don't feel weird about us talking about it, but this I think like Angelina and her children do a very good job of not being like too exploitive about their life. I was thinking about not even including this in what we talk about, but I think it's good for like an overall bigger conversation. So to me and everyone just know the story's like less about the child Shiloh Pitt and or Shiloh, whatever, Jolie, and more about just the overall name change thing. Um, anyway, all that to say is that last month Shiloh filed paperwork to legally change her name. She requested to drop the Pitt so she could go by her mother Angelina Jolie's maiden name instead, which would make her Shiloh Jolie. As of the time the article was written, the request had not been approved yet. But obviously they are who they are, so I feel like legally things will probably move a little bit quicker for them than it does for most
Hmm.
people. Um, and yeah, I've heard that Brad Pitt isn't like the most loved, or whatever father. Like I think we've heard throughout the years of just kind of weird stories about that, and that's sad to hear because like in my mind we would all want him to be a wonderful dad and like to have a great relationship with his kids. And even if they weren't together, I could still see Angelina and Brad like being a wonderful family to all these kids, and they have all these beautiful, like they have a huge beautiful family. So I don't know, that's sad to hear that that is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we're aware of because,
Hmm.
you know, it is kind of unusual to hear about, a child wanting to legally change their name.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's something going on that we don't know about, but the thing is that you know, unfortunately, people get married, people get divorced sometimes, and sometimes it's not the best situation when they do get divorced. But
Right.
I think you have to separate the marriage relationship from the relationship with your children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you're not unified to me in front of your children, they suffer. They suffer more than to me the parents would. Because
Definitely.
in some cases, you may have a situation where they kind of feel torn, where they feel like they're being pulled on one side versus the other, and they don't want that.
Right. And uh also I wonder if it also has to do with sometimes like good for Shiloh because she probably also just wants to be known in the world. Like obviously everyone will know if it's Shiloh Jolie, she'll know that it's Angelina's child, but like
Right.
I'm sure a lot of kids sometimes just don't want to be attached to that name and just want. I think I saw a TikTok of another one of their kids who just got into some sorority at college and like she's living like a normal life, as normal as you can be. But this is someone who just happens to be like someone in a sorority that she's not being treated like a celebrity. So I also wonder if Shiloh is just like the less I can be more of like a spectacle, the better, and I can just be like a normal human. So
Oh yeah, I mean, your children want to create their own path. No,
right.
no one wants to be referred to as, Angelina's daughter or son or Brad Pitt's son or daughter. They want to be their own person, and I get that.
Yeah, yeah. And I respect that. I always love hearing about when like someone has a band or something and then you realize like, oh, that lead singer is actually the daughter of that. But and especially like people are very mad at nepotism these days, which I get on some level. Um but yeah, I think it's cool and I think it's definitely also a bigger topic about like is 18 almost too old for people to get their name changed, or should it be, is the legal age right? Should it be 18 or should it be closer to like 14 or 15? Or I feel like if we made the age younger, there'd be more kids just doing it out of almost being like during a temper tantrum and then changing their
Mhm.
names. I remember if I there's been some fights that I've probably been mad at my parents and I'm like, I'm gonna choose my name. And like if I was allowed to do that at 12, I probably would have done it and then like regretted it 2 days later. So that's a lot. But I mean, I'm sure this is something that Shiloh's been thinking about for years upon years and like takes very seriously. And when you're getting lawyers involved, and I'm sure her mom is very like cognizant of what's going on. So this definitely sounds like a premeditated thing.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, when you're 18, even though to me you're still a kid, technically legally you are an adult, so you can go ahead and do what you want.
Yeah. I'm the opposite where I like my name Meryl Climo and whoever I marry, I'm just like, no, I want to stay like a me. So
There you go. But yeah, I tip my hat off to her. I mean, you have to do what you have to that makes you feel like a person, makes you feel like your own individual. So I respect that.
yeah. All the kids in a very nicer way. Like I appreciate that I don't know too much about them, and I think that's cool. There's one of her kids, I think it's like Pax maybe or something. I think PAX or something. It's just so funny. I feel so bad for this child, but there's so many TikTok compilations of like security forgetting that he's in the car and like shutting the car door on him, and like Angelina getting out, and then like the kid, it's like, wait, he's here too. So it's almost like they seem kind of a not annoying family, and like for how annoying their kids could be, they seem like very grounded and like just very chill.
Oh yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, we have a very interesting pivot here.
Yeah.
Um, there was an article in this magazine called Intelligent, and basically what they did is they interviewed. It looks like 800 managers and executives,
Okay.
and basically they asked about Gen Z, interviewing habits, stuff like this. The information was incredibly interesting. Did you know that most of them, as far as this is what they said in the survey, most Gen Zers um, do not dress appropriately for an interview. Okay, and I can kind of see that. You know,
Yeah, like, do you think they mean they're dressing down and like not wearing a suit, or they're just
I think they're dressing down.
oh, and like I could see them almost dressing too casual.
Yep, yep. I mean, I'm not saying that every interview requires an actual two-piece suit or whatever, but you do want to make some kind of effort. To me.
Yeah. Yeah. And almost too comfy. Like I can also see, even if the workplace itself, you're wearing like jeans and a sweat and a t-shirt every day, at least then just wear like a nice pants or dress, like a dress, or I do feel like now it's kind of geeky for young people to wear a suit. Like that does seem almost embarrassing, and I could see them not doing that, but still like dressing nice. You can still, even if it's casual.
Exactly, exactly. And then also they said, and this was pretty interesting, is that some of them asked for unreasonable wages.
Uh-huh.
And to me, I think that's a lack of knowledge because you can, whatever job you're interviewing for, it takes nothing to get on the internet and do some research on what that job is as far as the average pay, entry level experience. To me, that's not preparing because you can find that out. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Like for example, if you're interviewing for a job that on average pays 40,000, just using a simple number, and you
Mhm.
go in there saying, "Well, I want 100,000," you're not getting that job. You know?
Imagine if they're going in like sweatpants and being like, yeah, like I won't do it for less than 110K.
Or the new one now, everyone wears pajamas outside now.
Yes, I know, which I can't take that trend. Like, because pajamas almost make me feel like I'm at home and I have the flu or something. So like if I'm like shopping at Target wearing pajamas, I feel like I don't feel well. Like I feel like I have the flu or something. Like it makes me feel sick. It's like I need to not even if like I would rather wear like champion shorts or like athletic gear. That at least is like my form of giving up in the world. But and because I also think with the going back to the salary thing, there is so much on TikTok and like there's so many videos about people having like confidence about what you're worth and like kind of saying no thank you to things that aren't worth your while, which I understand and that's good. But like when it's your first job or if it's just not, if it doesn't like go with what the actual salary is, then you've got a problem.
Oh yeah, and when your first job, you're not going to make top dollar. They should realize that.
Yeah, yeah. I still feel like I really wish that there was more acceptance of hiring like people in their like 48 to like 68 or like I wish our society like almost favored that more. I'm sorry to young people, but I kind of wish that like a little bit older people got way more of a priority rather than like people first out of college. I don't know. I just feel like that is such like a good age group that still wants to work and that sometimes is changing their jobs and trying to pivot. But like, I don't know. I wish like the seniority went to more senior people, or the priorities.
And the other thing too is those people have a lot of experience. They can
Yeah,
literally come to your organization and hit the ground running, literally. You know.
right. And they need more help with like chances are they aren't going to be able to also get another job at the mall or get a job at like Dairy Queen or like their options are a little bit more limited in what they can do like physically. So I feel like for office jobs, I don't know, I wish like being like in your 50s and 60s was seen almost as like a good thing more in the workplace. In that article, did it say anything also about having your parents go with you to interviews? Because I've heard recently about that.
This is going to blow your mind, and it actually shocked me. First of all, that some of them were stupid enough to even bring their parents, but they said that 1 in 5 of them, okay,
No.
20% bring a parent with them to an interview.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I know I probably shouldn't say this, but if I'm interviewing you, you bring your parent to an interview, I will not hire you. I mean, that's just
No. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I mean, that's beyond absurd. And I have to imagine a lot of the hiring managers are pretty similar in age to the parents. Like your son is a Gen Zer, right? Like, is that he's kind of so it would be like you would be going on his interviews with him, and
exactly. He's interviewing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm his dad. So, what kind of salary is he looking at here? Okay, what's his hours? And then the
what if you
interviewer
show up
just
at
sit there.
class?
He's trying to do his interview, and he's just like, look,
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
me too. I'd be like, look at the man. Or, yeah, that, and then it's like if they ask questions, if the hire, it's like, who are you making eye contact with, or like who's gonna say like they're, yeah, that's beyond weird. Like that is really an issue, and I also wonder like not whose fault is it, but because I was thinking about that of like what type of people raised this generation, but I think it is like people in their 40s now, right? Like that's like where do you think like that went wrong? It was just like so I don't know. I'm like what like kind of where did we go wrong with that? It's just weird.
I mean, to me, it's crazy for a Gen Z or one to bring your parent to an interview. Anyone to bring a parent to an interview. What's even crazier is the parent agreeing to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, wow, really?
I
I mean,
know. I feel like kids are really going to stand out. Kids that are like self-sufficient and can actually make eye contact with people and can have like normal adult conversations. I feel like they're really going to go really far, like really quickly.
yeah, I mean, I think even though there's a lot of benefit to social media, I think one of the biggest negatives about social media is knowing how to interact with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And just making it a policy that it's like, I'm sorry, your parents could drive you to the interview, but like they can't be in the room with you, and you're not a baby, and you have to learn that. Like, also, wouldn't these people have gone to college, and wouldn't college prepare or like some type of schooling prepare you for this, or even senior year of high school? Like, I feel like they should kind of do dry runs of interviews, or like
Oh
you
yeah.
should have more practice.
I mean, when I read it and I heard about it, I literally had to do a double take. I'm like, no, this can't be real. And it was like,
No.
oh my God.
That is just the weirdest thing. That goes along, man. I wish this show was like 2 hours because I was gonna say that goes along with something I also just saw where like a lot of the Gen Zers have menu anxiety and their parents have to choose what they want to get on the menu, or they have to like talk to the waiter and say, my son will have the chicken tenders, or whatever, because
Really?
again, yeah, another thing that Gen Z
Oh
is
my.
like they took a poll, and one of people's biggest fears over like fear of heights or fear of anything was ordering off the menu.
Wow.
And I'm like, that is just so soft to me. And like, even if you're afraid, like get over it. Like look at the menu, tell the person what you want. Like that's just so absurd.
Wow. That is crazy. I mean, I think that they'll get back on track, but I like I say, it caught me off guard because I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
See, like that's good that you have faith and you're optimistic, because I'm like, when will they get on track? Will they get on track when they're like 37 and like now they're like 60-year-old parent is coming down? Like, and then like and then I mean I just had an instance of this where a friend runs a store. I have a good friend here, and she happens to run a very popular like food slash like kind of gourmet food store, and she had a mom reach out to her on Facebook, and the mom DM'd her, which is like weird already because they're not contacting the store professionally. Like, like back in our day, the 15-year-old would have to go into the place and ask for like an application, or, but instead the child's mom reached out to the owner my friend on Instagram, and just said like, my kid would love to work at your store. He's 15 years old. And my friend wrote like, oh, sorry, we actually can't have your child doing it because we serve alcohol, and so we need someone 21 and over. To which the mom then wrote back this huge long paragraph and said like, actually you're wrong, and kind of was very sassy about it, and like sassed her. And she was like, this is why my 15-year-old like needs to work at your store, in like capital letters. And my friend was just like,
Oh,
why am I arguing with someone's 15 or someone's mom? And just hiring that
oh,
person would be Isn't that so crazy? It's like
Oh my.
the woman was like badgering my friend and then was like one upping her, just trying to school her basically on the laws, which I'm like, that's one thing if, okay, now she knows, but also she's never going to hire this kid because like now you know that at every turn, like the mom is going to be involved or upset, or it's just so weird.
I mean, I don't know the laws in all the states, but I know in Illinois, yes, you have to be 21 years old in order to serve alcohol. I know that
Right,
for a fact. And I'm assuming
right.
it's probably similar in most states because that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yes. And just the fact that they're blindly like reaching out to the store. The funniest part was the mom wrote back and said, "I'm sure that he could stock the shelves or something." And this is like a gourmet store that literally has two shelves. so, so my friend is like, "Okay, we'll hire him and we'll just have him literally like spend 8 hours a day like rearranging like 8 feet of shelves, and that's it." And so that just they didn't even do their homework where like the kid didn't even walk into the store and look at it, and it's like you should at least get the experience of like asking for an application, or like
Oh, sure.
can I even see if I want to work here? But yeah, like someone's mom DMing on Facebook is just not the way.
Wow. That is incredible. I feel sorry for that child, though. Wow. I really
Yeah,
feel sorry for that child because here's the reality, and you're right. I'm quite sure that that business owner would never hire that person because they know what's coming with him.
right, exactly. Someone's upset mom, the kid worked too long, they're unhappy, they're not like moving up fast enough.
Hmm. Hmm. So maybe it was a good thing that he did have that conversation. So
See, thank goodness you're normal. I feel like we need more just like normal people as parents.
I hear you on that because some people are just wow.
Yeah. And I really feel like the way you could look out for your kids the most is by helping them become self-sufficient and like capable and confident in themselves. You're not doing any service by babying them or by like kind of making them helpless.
I mean, I guess as a father, to me, when you do that, you actually are destroying your kids because what's going to happen is your kids are going to get into a situation that mommy and daddy can't help them with.
Right.
They won't have the skills to try and figure it out on their own.
Yeah, right. Yep, and giving people skills and give really does give them self-esteem and confidence and yeah, I think so too. Look at us, we're getting deep.
That was a great conversation there. All right, next one is yours.
Oh, it is? Okay, let's see. Okay, well, I have two. Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, I love this week's one. Okay, next is there's a trend going on about quote unquote hot rodent men, rodent like mice. Um, from baby girl to hot rodent. Some on the internet have a new unusual compliment for their favorite men. So a lot of girls' taste right now in like what is attractive is quote unquote these hot rodent men. These men tend to have more angular facial structures, beady eyes, untidy hair, and they're often lankier than the typical Hollywood. Uh, so I'll stop right there. When I think of this, I automatically think of like Timothy Chalamet. Like I feel like he is the ultimate mouse rat looking man. Many people find him attractive. Like I don't get it, but I mean, good for him. And and then the one that Taylor Swift was just so upset about, Maddie Healy. I don't know if you know who that is, but yeah, like those two boys like literally look like mice. But I don't know. What do you? I mean, the other thing that this article got me thinking of too is I also saw a thing related to this that said that all people, like men and women, you either look like a bird or a frog, and like everyone either looks like a bird or a frog, and I think that's so funny. And I feel like you might be more frog-like, and I'm more bird-like.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me. It's like, do you really want to date a rodent or someone who looks like a rodent? I mean, I'm just
Right.
saying, you know.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, like it's their face, so they can't really help it. And of course, everyone's just trying to do their best. But like, I don't really see like beady eyes as the top of my list of like what I look for in someone.
I can see those arguments too. When you get mad, ooh, I can imagine what's being said.
Yeah, yeah. But I do think that's funny that some people just like prefer mousy. I feel like the men that I've tended to be attracted to more are definitely on like the Humpty Dumpty like frog side of things. And so I don't think there's not if you lined up all my exes, they're not really mouse like they're more like panda bearish, but yeah.
I'm quite sure your boyfriend would love to hear that.
He knows. He always knows. I always like I compare him to like weird things. I'm like, oh, you look like this, like a wicker basket, or like I always tell him that. Actually, in my stand-up, I have like a lot of material about how I really prefer like unattractive men and like I really like ugly guys. And I never want him to come. I'm like, he's like, how do you think that makes me feel? I'm like, well, not you, not you. But it's so funny too because at shows I'll have men like raise their hand and be like, "I'm ugly, I'm ugly." They'll volunteer themselves, and it's very cute and funny.
Hey, you got to be able to laugh at yourself, right?
Yeah, but do you think that the kind of the rodent trend is just that now, like popular boys tend to be a little bit on the leaner, more kind of like rock star? I mean, I guess that's always the case because like Mick Jagger, rock stars are always kind of a little bit on the like mouse looking side of things.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think it boils down to what your tastes are because I've always said this, there is no such thing as an ugly person. And the reason why
Right.
I say that is you can take a man or a woman, doesn't matter, and line up five people. So in other words, let's say you have a male and you have five women line up. Each one of those women are going to see that one guy differently. Some are going to
Yeah.
find him attractive, some are not going to find him attractive. And it doesn't matter what his skin tone is, whether he's thin, whether he's overweight. Literally, every one of those women are going to look at him differently.
Yes.
So that's why when you hear the term, beauty's only skin deep and beauty's in the eye of the beholder, that is 100% true.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I've seen couples that you're glad that they're together, they're happy, but you don't kind of do take a double take because you don't picture them together.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of like I was thinking about that when I was just on the plane where I was like, this is so stupid, but I was like, I wonder if anyone would like choose me as like their number one, like who they think is attractive. But then I feel like there's kind of sometimes there's men or women that are like recognizably attractive, like if like a Bradley Cooper or something was on the plane. I'm sure there's some people that wouldn't still pick him, but there's like undeniable like if like a young Brooke Shields to me was like on a plane, most people, if you had to pick out like who do you think is the most attractive, like for the most part people would pick out this person, but that doesn't mean that we would all be attracted to them as or want to date them. It just would mean almost like in our minds who we see as the most attractive, but it doesn't mean that we like them, and maybe not, maybe some people would look at that and be like, no, she's too thin, or like that's not my type, or I like redheads or whatever. But I always think about that because I'm like, I at least hope like one person would choose me. That's what I like to think about on planes.
I'm quite sure there'll be a lot of people that would choose you. I look at it like this. I have my wife laughing one day. I said, I know most women like a men with a six pack. I get it. I got a 12 pack. Get over it. You know, she just started laughing.
Aw, that's
My
so
thing is,
cute.
hey, I am who I am. Hey, love it or hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like the hot mouse trend is actually helping the like geeky nerdy boys too, because now instead of being made fun of for being like a skinny twig or being like looking like a mouse, it's like they can own it. So
Oh yeah. You know what that reminds me of, right? That reminded. I don't know if you ever seen Family Matters.
yeah, yeah, I love that show.
That reminds me of Urkel and his girlfriend. What was her name? Myra.
Oh yeah, wait, was she nerdy too?
Yep.
But
Yep.
then she like got really hot, right? Like she would kind of like take off her glasses and kind of have like a like. There's some moments where we saw that she was like
Well,
smoking
no,
hot.
she was a very beautiful. She was very beautiful. She was just into guys that were considered nerds. You know,
Yeah,
and it was kind of cute because even though she was into him, she wasn't that into her. She liked her, but she really liked Laura. He really liked
that's
Laura Bass.
right. That's right.
It was a
And
crazy dynamic.
it is a crazy dynamic, and it's so funny that is it Jael White? Is that his name?
Yes. Yep.
That's so funny that he's like so hot too. That's like he's very attractive, and that is just hilarious. That like he's a very very good looking man, and I love that for him.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But like I said, it's an interesting thing, and hey, if you like the road men, have at it. Get you some cheese and have a great day.
Exactly. Set those mouse traps, ladies, so you can put out some cheese all over the street for them.
All right, now we're going to pivot a little bit. Um, did you hear about or see the video about Cardi B calling out this artist? Uh,
No, I
woman.
can't keep up with my Cardi news.
Basically, what happened? It was this artist, forgot her name, but basically, she was making rumors about, I guess, some kind of video, some kind of sex tape or whatever.
Oh my
That
gosh.
out. Well, what ended up really happening was she kind of wanted to kind of boost, I guess, a new song that she wanted to put out. And Cardi B
Cardi
got
did?
pretty the woman that made
Oh,
that.
okay.
So there was really no sex tape or anything. She was just trying to drum up publicity for her music.
Okay.
To me, that's a dangerous thing because one, Cardi B is an A-lister. She's a true A-lister. Also, Cardi B has a lot of money and resources. Okay.
Yes.
You kind of playing with fire a little bit. She was very angry and even is thinking about, taking legal action. I get it. You want to try and do something that puts you over the top, get people to listen to your new song. I get all that. But you got to be careful when you do these kind of games because you can get burned really, really bad when you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is scary. And Cardi's fans too. It's like you don't want to upset the whole thing. And like I feel like the power that Cardi has to kind of have a platform, that
Hmm.
is scary. I wonder who does it say who the other artist is?
I think in the article it does, yeah.
Does okay, yeah. I wouldn't want Cardi on like my bad side, and especially if it's a publicity stunt too, or to like get more sales, then it kind of makes you look doubly bad because like not only is the controversy happening, but then you have like people just saying, oh, that is kind of a thirsty thing to do, like
Oh
to
yeah,
try to
absolutely. And like I said, it's a dangerous game because they have resources that you don't have. So
right.
you
Yes.
know they can crush you really
Yeah.
bad if you play that game.
Yeah, I feel like that person will have to shut down their Twitter and like shut down their like Instagram. Like, I bet people aren't going to take that very easily. And you're right. Not only does Cardi have her own fans, but like her own music industry friends and producers. And it's like, oh yeah, I would not want everyone like mad at me in that circle.
Oh no, absolutely not. And also too, you got to realize too, every industry is small when you're in it. So
Yeah,
there may be people that you may not have access to because of what you did that either know Cardi B or somehow connected to her in some way. You don't know who knows who. So
I
you got to be careful
know.
when you play those games.
Yeah, yep, yeah, it's scary. I wonder if that woman was just there's another who's really popular who is always getting in. Oh, Iggy Azalea. I feel like
Oh yeah.
she's she's always like popping off at people, but I feel like it's hilarious and she just doesn't care. But I feel like she got to the point where she just like could do that, but I feel like that's like almost part of her thing is she just like talks a bunch of whatever and then just kind of like gets people incited about it and like a lot of times people get mad at her, but like I think it's hilarious and you just kind of know what you're getting. But yeah, she's an established artist, like which, if you're a new person or just trying to come onto the scene, that's a lot different.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, I just hope that she backs down because it seems like she does have some talent and it would be a shame that, it's wasted because you did something stupid and,
Yeah. Ugh. That's the kind of like what's that saying? Like the play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like that's exactly it. It's like, yeah, just promote your music
oh,
anyhow.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, this is going so fast. Okay, do we have time for me to do one more?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. We'll do it quickly. I think this is so fun. Um, okay, so this is 2024's most viral internet slang defined. And so I think this would be so funny if I could say some of the words and then without looking, don't look at the article and tell me if you know what they mean and
Okay.
if you know the definitions, I'm gonna quiz you on it. Um, okay, so we'll pick just a few. We won't do all of them. Okay, what does, and I promise this is not a sexual one, even though it sounds like it. Okay, what does glazing mean?
I'm gonna guess, when you kind of glance over at someone.
Okay, like you glaze at them or something? Is that your final answer?
Hmm.
Okay, I wish I could have a like. Okay, so glazing. Uh, I did not just the. I'm on your side. I did not know this one before at all either. So to me, I would think it would mean like putting stuff all over your face so you look like a donut almost because a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
girls like I that's the one I would have chosen, but it's neither of those. Um, Glazing has become it refers to overhyping something. So basically, if you're glazing something and you're like really hyping it up, and then it turns out to be not that good.
Okay.
So so uh,
I would have never guessed that.
I know, right? So like the reference is like someone posted a Taylor Swift album and said, "I'm crying, bro." They do this with every Taylor Swift album. The glazing is insane. So almost like you talk up a huge thing and
Mhm.
then it's kind of not that good. Uh, okay, next up, what about Pookie?
Pookie. I would say Pookie will be referring to someone who's pretty much down to earth, doesn't really care, and you take them or leave them.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. So Pookie is actually like your significant other.
Oh.
So it's like your boo or your honey or whatever. So uh Pookie let's see. Thanks to the Southern TikTok couple Campbell and Jet Puckett, who I don't even know who that is, the term of endearment came back in a significant way in 2024. You're looking amazing tonight, Pookie, I guess was like a term that everyone liked. And the person on TikTok referred to his wife as Pookie, and now it catapulted it into the mainstream.
I suck at this game, I see.
No, you just are like an adult living a life with a job. It would actually be kind of scary if you knew all of this. I feel like, okay, I think you're gonna know this one, but it's something we do professionally. Yap. So like what does yap or yapping mean?
Um, let's see. I'm gonna guess that yapping is basically doing a lot of talking.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So like I feel like I'm beyond a yapper. So in 2024, you don't chit chat or blab, you yap. Yapping refers to talking excessively or at length. Um, the verb initially referred to a small dog and then morphed into a verb describing the high-pitched bark of a dog. So yeah, just talking. Uh, okay, I'm gonna pick one more that I actually don't know either. Okay, what do you think fail marriage is?
Fail marriage?
Yep.
Ooh, fail marriage. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say basically you're settling for someone even though you wanted someone else and you married them.
Yep, good job. Yep, so you know that one. Yes,
Oh
exactly.
wow. That
Yep.
was 100% a guess.
I mean, you used your context clues very well. And it doesn't always even have to do with like someone else. It just is basically a marriage that's in free fall, but the couple chooses to just stay together anyway. Like for anyone that watched Succession, I was a huge Succession fan, but the marriage between Shiv and Tom, which is pretty much like an arranged marriage. Like I would also think of Bill and Hillary Clinton as one where it's like, they're probably not they're not each other's pookie, but there's probably not a lot of yapping going on, but they still want to stay married for like the purposes of just whatever politics, business, money,
Mhm.
stuff like that. You did pretty good. 2 out of 4 ain't
Wow,
bad.
that was actually pretty good.
You win. You win the Gen Z prize.
Well, I'm gonna save the next one, even though I really wanted to go over it, but we'll save it for next time.
Really? Okay. Okay.
It's up to you. I mean,
I'm good. I have time.
it's a fun one.
Yeah,
Um,
let's do a fun one.
all right. A man accidentally leaves a $273 million lottery ticket on the counter. You know how you buy your ticket and you get to pay for it, stuff like that. And you lay the ticket down, which I don't know why he did that, because you never know. But we left out and he accidentally left the ticket on the counter. So the cashier took the ticket and put it underneath the register in case he came back. It happened to hit for $273 million.
My God.
And The cashier gave the ticket back to the person who left it. I have to be honest with you. I'm totally shocked that this is even a story because most cashiers won't do that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, well, could it couldn't wouldn't even it not be his legally, or I guess like not yet because he didn't claim it, right? So like the cashier could have claimed it.
he could have claimed it. I mean, obviously, the man, if he knew the numbers on the ticket, probably could have said, "Hey, I left my ticket there," whatever. Because I'm quite sure there's cameras around all cash registers and stuff. But I guess the thing that I one is shocked that the guy did that. That's incredibly honest.
Yes.
Now, the one thing I don't know, and which is be interesting, is did he give him something for giving him that ticket?
Exactly. You
Because
better.
to me, I think that he should at least at a minimum get 10%. At a minimum,
Yeah.
10%. He can give as much as half. Because the way I look at it is if it wasn't for that honesty of that cashier, you would not have that ticket to win. Period.
Yeah. See,
I
I,
mean,
I was
what do you think about that?
well, that's funny that you said because my first thought was I would at least I would at least figure out how much like I would find out from that guy how much his house is like still like I would buy him out of whatever house he's in. Like I would for sure a million percent be like, let me pay off your house and like or if that's paid off, also be like you and your wife or whoever pick out like two cars that you want, you know what I mean? Like your dream cars,
Mhm.
do that. So I would probably almost try to do that in like tangible. Or I was going to just give a million, but I also but I also like it'd be nice for that cashier to not have to work at the place anymore. So like maybe like here's $1 million and I'm going to pay off your house. Like to me would be extremely nice. And maybe also like that guy could also get some type of like I don't know some award in the neighborhood or like some I feel like there's other ways for that guy to also like benefit off of what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see him doing anything for him, which surprised me.
That's
So,
crazy. If you're not even going to give anything or even like $10,000, like that's crazy.
oh yeah, because again, the cashier could have cashed it himself or gave it to a significant other and say, "Hey, you cash this ticket."
Yeah,
You never know. You know.
that's ridiculous. Like that's just very weird if someone would have that much money now. I mean, I have to wonder if maybe he's like waiting, maybe he hasn't gotten the money physically yet. I don't know. Like, maybe it's one of those things that it comes like once it if he
That's
chose
true.
it like
I
once.
mean, it depends on what he chose because in most of those large lotteries, you can either take it in a lump sum, and just be done with it, or you can, get it over the years. Because
I
if you took
know.
it, a lot of people don't realize when you take it as a lump sum, he didn't really win 273. That's if
Right,
he get it over the 20, 30 years because it's an annuity at that point.
right. And you get taxed, right? Or you get like a lot of tax?
Oh yeah, you get hit heavy with taxes. I mean, personally, I would just take the lump sum just because of the fact that, just in case the annuity company goes out of business.
Exactly.
I was like, I ain't gonna take no chance, because some
Exactly.
people be like,
And you can
some people be like, well, they take out so much money. And, my thing is, okay, you can't miss what you never had in the first place. I'm just saying,
right, right, exactly. And to me, you could get a good financial investor and like just put immediately so much money away that then you're just like also living on interest for a while or living on whatever. So I feel like instead of waiting year by year you could be really smart and put in a way like a lot of it away immediately and then it will grow and then you'll be naturally getting like a whole bunch every year.
oh yeah. I mean, we don't do it at our job, but if I was in a workplace and they had a lottery pool, I would join.
You
Reason
really?
being that let's say they hit the lottery and you didn't play, so your wife's all excited. Hey, we won, we won. The pool won, and you have to sit back. Yeah, about
Oh my gosh, I'd be so mad. I would get married to like my husband's coworker then.
that.
I'd be like, Larry from accounting is looking real good these days. He's
Oh my God, and that story actually happened years ago, where
really?
there was a person who always participated in the lottery pool, and for whatever reason, he didn't want to participate that week. They won.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was a big thing about, well, they should still share with him because he's always been in it. He just wasn't in it that week. I don't agree with that. You
Yeah.
he did not participate. That's just me. I'm just saying,
Right, exactly. It's kind of like so bad, too sad, that kind of thing. Like, yeah, either you're in it or not.
Mhm. But yeah, when I saw that story, I'm like, yeah, if they ever did a lottery pull, I'm in it.
You're
Just
in it
because
all the time.
because you don't know. And like I said, that's a hard thing. You have to go home to your wife. Yeah, babe. Yeah, about that lottery.
Exactly. I mean, I would hope that also the people around the winner of the original winner that we were talking about pressure him enough to like give the poor worker something, like I said, like $25,000 would be nothing to him, and that would like be like at least a big significant amount to someone.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm quite sure he has people around him, and they're like, "Hey, did you break him off something? Did you give him a little something?" So, oh man,
Yeah.
I gave him a couple thousand. Like, really? Seriously?
Right.
Because that,
Imagine just then going into that convenience store for like a soda or something in a few years and being like, "Hello."
yeah, yeah. That's why you gotta count your blessings. You really
I
do.
know.
Because guess what? Karma is real. You
Yep,
reap what you sow.
exactly.
This was an awesome,
This
awesome,
was super fun. Thank you for also being patient with my technical difficulties today. I appreciate that.
not a problem at all. I know that people are gonna enjoy watching this episode because we covered some great things.
Yes, we do.
Well, for everyone else out there, don't forget to watch our streaming channel, elrodtvnetwork.com, and make sure that you always check out my girl Meryl. She's always performing. Make sure you follow her on social media. And Meryl, you have anything coming up?
I do. In like 2 weeks, I have a show at the Improv in Hollywood, and it's so funny. It's horror related. So like it's there's this group called the Horror Nerds, which are like people that like like horror and scary movies. And the theme is going to be witches. So like I'm going to be doing some stand up comedy that's like witch related.
Nice.
So
Well,
it will be
definitely
super
make
fun.
sure that you go see her if you're in the area. And as always, have those thirsty conversations.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay.